Hey lovelies, and welcome back to this channel. First of all, I want to say if you clicked on this video, big thank you because I really appreciate that, and I also hope that this gives you a bit of advice and you actually get some good information out of this podcast type channel. Okay guys, I'm new here, please let me find myself, okay? I know the background needs a lot of work for in the future, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I know that. So listen, as you can see by the title today, our topic for this video is letting people you've outgrown leave your life. How important that is, guys. I don't think you realize. So I have got some notes on my phone to kind of be conversation starters, if you know what I mean. But first off, I want to say before we get into it, how hard it is to sometimes do that. A lot of these people that are in your life are people that you've had in your life since you were young. They could be people you grew up with. They could be people that could be your family guys sometimes. Family guy. Could be your family sometimes. And it's not an easy thing to do. But if you want a good life, you have to put in work, and it's not always easy. But it depends on how badly you want that life, if that makes sense. So just letting you know, if you have been thinking of doing this, or it's been on your mind a while and then you found this video, it's probably time. It's probably a sign from God that it is time to do it. And listen as well, cutting people out of your life does not mean you're a bad person at all. It actually is great, because sometimes you'll feel that you're holding on to somebody in your life because you're two completely different people. So actually letting them go would help them as well, because they're holding on to somebody that you're not really on the same wavelength anymore. So you're actually doing both of you a favour if you let them go. But anyways, so outgrown people is normal. As I said, when you're trying to grow and you're trying to elevate yourself, you're trying to be the best version of yourself, it's not just about you, it's the people who are around you as well, because the people that you associate with can change you a lot. First of all, you can be easily influenced by their opinions that maybe you don't agree with, or they may be kind of offering you to go out all the time. Maybe you don't want to go out anymore. They could be giving you these distractions that are taking you away from your goals. For me, I just ended a relationship with somebody because I knew this man for 3 years. We lived together for a year and a half. We were friends before, and then we got together, and I had to cut him out because it seemed like we weren't really on the same wavelength. We had the same hobbies, kind of, I guess, and same humor, kind of. But in regard to elevating ourselves and being the best version of ourselves, he wasn't passionate as me in that. And because of that, I was kind of doing what he wanted us to do. Maybe I was eating unhealthy food all the time because, he would say it and I'd be like, oh, why not? So I had to cut him out of my life, guys, to focus on myself, and it was hard. But you'll notice as well, sometimes, like when I cut him out of my life, it was we've done it a few times. Like we said, we were ending a few times for the same reasons, really. And I noticed that once he left, I felt really anxious. And I was like, right, I was actually dependent on this man. I don't want to ever be dependent on a man ever again in my life. Like, why would a man be there? So that was just a telling sign for me. And I go live on TikTok quite often now, and a few of the girls on there, we'd be talking about him, and they're saying, girl, like, you should not be dependent on him. Like, you need to take time for yourself. And it was just a telling sign for me that was like, right, shit, I'm really not focused on myself. I'm really not caring or loving myself because I am dependent on a man, on another person, doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, to make me happy, to make me feel safe. And that's not right, because you should feel safe and whole and complete and just yourself, okay? That doesn't mean it's easy to do that. It's definitely not. But it should be that way. You shouldn't need to depend on anybody else for your happiness or your safety. So as I said, it could be just friendships or connections. and they fit who you used to be, but you're not that person anymore. So having these other people in your life that you just don't gel with anymore, it's like they want to go out all the time and you don't want to do that. You're more of like a stay in type of girl. You want to journal and read affirmations and, you know, make money, and they want to go out and club partying, and you're like, that's not really fitting me anymore. That will stop you from receiving a lot of blessings that you could be receiving, because you're still in that energy of like, especially if you still go out with them and stuff, it's like you're missing out on the opportunity that you could have if you just took time on yourself, took time by yourself, isolated for a bit, figure out who you are, figure out what you want, and cut all the people off that don't want to do what you want to do. You don't need other people to be with you on whatever you want to do. You don't need anybody to be rooting for you. You just need yourself to be rooting for yourself, because nobody is going to really root for you. You may tell somebody you're doing something, they might laugh at you and they might think, all right, good luck with that, as if it's impossible. If you have people like that in your life, they need to go, because the truth is anything is possible, and you can have anything. Anything you can imagine that you can have, you can have. So if you have anybody in your life especially that is telling you kind of that's an unrealistic goal, that's unachievable, they need to go. And you'll notice that, you know, those people, they may cheer you on, but they never help you when it's really hard. And then when you get the rewards, then they support you and they're thankful for you then, and they're great, they're proud of you. But during the whole process of getting there, they don't care, you know. You need people that are going to have the same interests as you. You need people that are also trying to level up. You need people that are also trying to make money and be the best version of themselves. It's kind of like, you know, it doesn't match if you have somebody who just wants to party all the time and somebody who just wants to stay at home and elevate themselves and work on themselves. It's not going to work. They're going to drag you down eventually, because, you know, going out and stuff, it can be hard to say no to sometimes. I get that. Sometimes you feel like you need to let go and go out, but it's just a distraction. And one day turns into 2 days, turns into 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you're just doing this as an everyday thing again. This isn't just with going out, this is just with anything. Could be getting that takeaway, could be drinking that alcohol, you know what I mean? It's just like a cycle. And then the longer you let that happen, it's harder to get back out of and go to the start again. So once you're on a good page, try your best to stay there and cut out people that are dragging you down before they get to drag you down. That makes sense. I also have here some signs that it's time to let go. So you may obviously have your gut feeling, your instinct, which is what we should be going off if we can feel our gut instincts. But signs of this, after interacting with them, this was a big one for me. After interacting with them, you feel drained. You genuinely feel drained of your energy. You feel like they've sucked all the life out of you. That for me was a big telling sign with my ex. It was like towards the end, I mean, I was thinking about it for a while, but towards the end I was like, oh, whenever he left, I was like relieved. I was like, oh my God. But I just felt, this sounds horrible. I'm not a horrible person, but genuinely this is just how you feel. I mean, I felt like drained and like I had no energy after an interaction with him. Even if it was on the phone, I'd be like, I am wrecked. I need to go to bed right now. And yeah, I already mentioned that one. If your values and your lifestyle no longer align, it's okay to cut them off. You don't need to hold on to people in order to say I have friends. Guys, I have no friends and I'm actually fine. No, I am. Anyways, your values and lifestyles no longer align. Can I not do that ever again? Thanks, guys. I know I need to set up my my background. It will be good soon, okay? Perfect. And as I said as well, they resist your growth or belittle your progress, which is exactly what I said. You don't want the type of people around who are not supporting you. You don't want the type of people around who are belittling your goals, telling you like, you know, you may have tried something a few times and then you go to that one friend and you're like, hey, I'm going to try this again. And they're like, oh yeah, great. waste of time again. You know what I mean? Something like that, something stupid like that. Now, this is important. So, the fear of letting go is, why do you have this fear? You could feel like you're going to be lonely without them, which people always take loneliness as a really bad thing, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about myself. So, I have not had a big group of friends since I was maybe 18. Guys, I'm 24 now, right? So what I did when I was younger was I was quite self-aware at that age, and already I knew that I needed to cut out certain people out of my life because I just wasn't having them in my life. I cut a lot of people out, and then it ended up being just me and my ex, who, when we lived together, and that was all I had, guys. And I worked from home and he would work, so I was on my own a lot of the time. Loneliness, okay? I do feel lonely still at times, and I did feel lonely still at times, but I just have to think of the bigger picture of that. It's really hard to find people now who you can trust. So if you do have friends that genuinely you can trust, and people in your life that genuinely support you and uplift you and motivate you and have the same interests as you, that's beautiful, and you should definitely be grateful for that, because it's very hard to find nowadays. But I'm just sticking to my progress. I mean, at the end of the day, all I have to worry about now is me and my family. That's all my worries, and my whole reason of being on my own is to not let anybody influence me to do anything that is steering me away from the path that I want to go on. So you will be lonely, and you might be lonely for a year, you might be lonely for 3 years. It's going to be a very lonely time, but guys, unfortunately, leveling up and being the best version of yourself and working on yourself is a lonely stage, because everybody's focused on themselves. Nobody's going to help you do that, okay? You're going to have hard times, you're going to have really low lows, you're going to have really high highs. But the reality of it is, nobody is going to be supporting you through your journey of leveling up and being the best version of yourself, because they're out worried about themselves. So you have to enjoy spending time with yourself. You have to be comfortable with yourself, being around yourself. It's important, because as I said at the start, I was very dependent on him, and now I don't need him. All I need is myself. All I need is me, my family obviously, but my mind. I need to control my mind and teach myself how to be okay with myself, how to love myself, that everything is already within me and I can already achieve everything I want to achieve. I just need to start believing in myself. It's always, guys, this is what it is. It's not you versus anybody else. It's you versus you. I mean, any fears that you have, it's you that is stopping you from doing them. Nobody else. Somebody could say you shouldn't do that, but in reality, you have free will and you can do it or not. It's you versus you, literally all the time, which is crazy to think. You're not competing really with anybody else. You're competing with yourself. Can I not move that? Fear of judgment from others. Of course, you may let somebody go, or say, I think that we need to distance ourselves. I think that we don't have the same goals, or we're not on the same wavelength. And they may feel really sad about that, because to them it might feel like, oh, I just wanted to keep as many friends around. But to you, it's like, I'm not keeping anybody around unless they benefit me in some way. And if you don't offer me any benefits, anything good, then there's no point in keeping you around if all you're going to do is drag me down. But they may see it as you're just a horrible person and you don't care. But in reality, you do care, but you're actually doing just what's best for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. So fuck judgment from others, guys. Honestly, who cares? You may fear that you're going to lose memories with this person. I've got off a lot of people. Memories are still there, and I could still laugh and appreciate those memories. But you can also think, I can make more memories, and I have so much more time for more memories. That, so what? As you grow, you're gonna outgrow people. It's completely normal, and you can make memories with other people, but the memories don't go, the memories don't fade. And as I said, like, I had a few friends before, and like, I can still remember the fun times we had, but I can also think if they were still in my life now, I mean, I wouldn't have done what I have done. I would have stayed doing what they were doing, you know, trying to fit in with them and shrink myself to fit in with them. So you don't need to hate these people either. It's like, you can leave it and leave with love and leave with respect, you know, and explain that to them. Like, I'm not doing this because I hate you or I think you're a bad person. It's just simply I'm trying to really look out for myself. I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to create the life that I want. And I'm sorry, but I think this is best. And if it's best for me, it's probably best for you. Or you won't lose memories. You'll always remember them. As I said, like, keeping on to these people can really stunt your growth in life. If you really do care about leveling up and being the best version of yourself, these people are going to stop you from doing that. If you no longer align, they can block opportunities, as I said. Versus when you're on your own, you know, in your own lane, doing what you want, knowing what you want to do, planning. See, this is the thing. How your brain works, I think it's called the reticulative activated system. It's called the RAS, and it's a part in your brain where it filters out things. Let me try to explain this without looking it up, because I do remember. It's the RAS, and it's a part of your reticulative active system or something. I can't remember the exact words. It's definitely RAS, and it's a part in your brain that acts like a filter, right? So obviously what you've learned from as a child and stuff is kind of in your brain. This is disgraceful. So based on what your brain thinks of yourself, so basically what you think of yourself, your brain will filter out things. Right, let me explain it in an actual understanding way. Can I talk English? So say I believe that I'm going to be successful, and which I do, and everything works out for me, blah, blah, blah. As I go about my day, I might walk past a normal building, okay, and it might have a sign on the wall saying, say I wanted to be a model, right? And I really believed I was going to be a model, and I thought it was beautiful, I thought it was perfect to be a model. And I was walking past this building, and as my eyes are looking around, I noticed this sign on the wall that says models wanted. And I go over to it, and I've spotted that, right? Versus, bear with me, okay? Stay with me. Bear in mind, what? Now imagine that I was somebody who wanted to be a model, but I didn't think I was pretty enough, or maybe I don't want to be a model. If I walk past that same building, I wouldn't notice that. So the RAS is a part in your brain that actually filters things out. So depending on what you believe and what you think about yourself, you will spot things out like that. So for example, have you ever, here's an actual example. Have you ever been thinking about somebody or been thinking about something? Like, for example, when I was younger, I used to really want a Range Rover Evoque. I really still do. It's on my vision board up there. And I think about it all the time. And then I started seeing them everywhere. It's because your brain is knowing that that's what you're thinking about. So it's showing you that out in the world as well. That's what the RAS is. So basically why I brought that up is, when you're staying in your own lane and you're thinking about what you want and what you want to do, you'll start finding more opportunities for that. But if you have all this outside noise and distractions and other people who don't want what you want, your brain's going to find it hard to see those things. Look up RAS, it's really interesting. But I know a lot of you have been thinking about something or an item and you've seen it. Comment down below what that has been for you, because mine was a white Range Rover Evoque, and I used to see them everywhere. And before that, I'd never seen them because my brain wasn't thinking of them. Anyway, also just your energy is important, and you should kind of limit who you spend it on. Guys, little secret, this includes sleeping with loads of people that you don't know. Don't do that anymore, please. You don't realize how detrimental that is to your body and your mind and everything. Okay, as I said, there's a graceful way to let people go. Acceptance. Accept that you had a good time. That was one stage in your life, but now you're on to the next. It doesn't need to be a hateful thing. It doesn't need to be you're doing nothing with your life and you're so pathetic and I can't deal with that anymore because I'm going to be something and you're not. You don't need to do that, obviously. Just be nice about it. As I said, like, we're just on two different wavelengths, and I just want to better myself, so I feel like we should go our separate ways. And yeah, just focusing on self-love and growth, and don't feel guilty about it. Just sometimes if it's sore, like what I did, I turned that pain into working on something. What are they cooking downstairs? Smells unreal. I'm starving. We're nearly done with this video, by the way. So okay, now this is the important part. So what is the benefit? What is the biggest benefit of this, of letting people go, guys? Can anybody answer in the comments? What is the biggest benefit of letting people go who you've outgrown? Do we know the answer? What does it do? It lets in room for people to come into your life who are actually meant for you. Okay, right. If you're holding on to the man who doesn't treat you as good as you deserve to be treated, if you keep holding on to him because you feel bad and you love him and he's going to change and he's getting better. He said he loved me today. No. You keeping... What is the saying? Don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband. I love that saying. So yeah, it's going to open up a space for better relationships to come in, better friendships to come in, who are actually in alignment with what you want and who you are, your new self. Currently waiting on that. Hey, I'm currently waiting on that myself, okay? It's not going to happen straight away. It hasn't happened for me yet, but I have faith that it will. You're going to attract people who resonate with your current self, exactly. And then what does that lead to? Just an overall peaceful and happy life. And guess what? If you outgrow them in the future, then you just do it again. It's fine. It's the whole point of life, okay? As I said I have here to tell you guys a personal story, but I did already do that kind of. Just letting go of my ex, right? It was just like, I genuinely felt so attached. And when I finally realized that I was attached, and I realized, hey, I actually can just turn this pain into power and pain into working on myself. It was so freeing for me. And it was so freeing now knowing that I'm completely happy with my own company, because, listen, you spend a lot of time with yourself, so you're going to have to enjoy the person that you're spending time with. That's why it's important to work on yourself. I mean, there's no better thing, there's no better feeling and no better thing to do than just putting effort into yourself and working on yourself. Genuinely, there's not. It's so beneficial for you. I'm talking about health, wealth, your mind. If you have the funds, the resources, get therapy, it's important. Because imagine if I told you that you could pick any car and you would have the exact same car for the rest of your life and you wouldn't be able to get any other cars. Wouldn't you treat it really well? I bet you'd be putting the most expensive petrol into it. You'd be washing it all the time. You'd be getting it checked every time because you can't get another car. Hey, you only have one body. Who said that? Hey, you only have one body, so let's take care of it. We only have one mind, let's take care of it. One brain, let's take care of it. And with that, I'm going to end, because I thought that was a good way to end. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts were on this video. If you have let anybody go, if you're planning on letting anybody go. And yeah. Goodbye.